Okay, guys, welcome to this week's Fife Property Show. I can't imagine that many people will be on, considering they might be outside in the sun right now. But let's go with it, and you can watch it later on in the catch-up. So this is the property market. I'm just making sure I've got everything in hand. Just reach over to my printer. So this is the property market from the week beginning the 3rd of July to the 9th of July. Now, we're going to take a look at the numbers over the whole of Fife itself, what's come on and what's actually been sold in the same week to give us an idea of supply and demand. We're also going to look at what's coming onto the market with us coming soon. So watch out for that and listen in for that as well, because that could give you a heads up before pre-portal, before it goes on websites. We're bringing that property on so you can register with us or contact the direct to register with us as well. We can also, good evening, Fife Properties, Bonegate Cooper. I'm not really sure who that is. That could be Andrea. It's maybe gone under the wrong name. And also what we've actually sold in that period as well, to give you an idea of what properties are actually going for. I'm going to talk about some of the shows that we did as well, especially doing it for the kids. And that was about creating a generational wealth and being able to pass that forward to your children. That's on this post right now. And I'll tell you a bit more about that in a minute. Why I'm actually doing vlogs and blogs like this. So it's timeless content passed on by my years of experience. So you can use this all the time. In 30 years and 50 years and 100 years time, the content that I'm actually doing right now in the Wealth Creation Show and some of the property shows as well, the weekly property shows, will be timeless content. You could watch it same time, 50 years time, and the content will be exactly the same and exactly relevant to that period of time as well. But I'll tell you more about that in a minute. Anyway, okay, let's crack on and look at the Fife property market overall. Now, this is the week. You'll notice straight away when we jump down at the bottom there, you've got 149 actually listed, only 118 sold in the same week. Don't panic, people. There's not an oversupply yet, and I'll show you why that is the case. So if we look at the Cooper area, we've got 11 instructed, 10 actually sold for Even Stevens, buoyant market still in the Cooper area. That's KY14, KY15 is the Cooper area. East Nuke is KY10, KY9. So that's the postal codes for that. 3 came onto the market, 3 actually sold in the same week. So still good demand there. St Andrews is KY16, which is 11 came onto the market and 6 actually sold. Leadmouth is KY8, 15 came onto the market, actually 6 sold. Now, this is the one I was talking about Leadmouth especially. Let me just recap and see where my numbers are in terms of Leadmouth area. Give me 2 seconds. I'll just reach down for this bit of paper. I actually threw on the floor. So Leadmouth area, if you take that in conjunction with last week, it's not as bad as it seems, because last week it was an oversupply, 9 versus 11. So, it kind of makes up for it a wee bit. So it would actually be with these 2 weeks combined, 24 versus 17. So it's not a huge amount of an oversupply, if that makes sense. And then combined with last month as well, which was June, it's not really that. So 1 week doesn't make a trend. My boss in manufacturing, my managing director used to tell me that every single time. Jim, listen, just because you look at the KPIs and the numbers in 1 week, it does not make a trend. You have to look at the weeks to come after that as well to get an idea of where the market is. So good advice, Willie McCall. Thank you very much. And Roy as well. Dunfermline, 58 came onto the market, 61 under offer and sold. 18 for Glenrothes and 15 actually sold and under offer. And when you look at Kirkcaldy, you have 33 versus 17. Now, this is again where I come back to saying, if you look at the previous week, you had 24 versus 35. So it was the other way around. So overall, Kirkcaldy in these 2 weeks was actually 58 versus 53. So the 2 weeks combined actually even each other and smooth each other out. So there's not a huge oversupply there in terms of the number of properties actually coming to market. But in this week just past, you can see that actually was quite significant to there. Okay, let's jump on and look at some other numbers here. What was actually sold in the week? Now, why we tell you this, what was actually sold, not to crow about the fact that we've sold a property. It's like, no, that's nothing to do with it at all. This is to actually give you an idea about how much these properties are and how much they're going for. So what these properties are and what they're going for. So this was 45 Langside Drive in Kenway. This was actually sold. This was a 3-bedroom end terraced house. Now, this was listed at offers over 95,000 at the time, and it's actually sold at that level. So that's kind of where these properties are actually going for in terms of price point. Most properties, again, in Leadmouth area are going for around about 6 or to 8% over the home report value. The rest of the area of North East Fife and East Fife itself, in terms of East Neuk, St Andrews and Cooper, are going for around about the 10 to 15% over in terms of price point. For some of the houses that are really special, they're actually going up a lot more than that. And we had some recently. Anyway, okay, let's jump on again and let's look at the next one here. I'll quickly jump on. We have jumped on too far here. Let me just jump back. We've got a bit of sticky mouse here. This is 10 Ardan. Now, this was sold from social media before it even got to any website. It did make it to websites. It was a 3-bedroom terraced house, and they actually was listed at offers over 125,000. Now, hopefully you're hearing me out there. There's a bit of delay in here, and there's a bit, it's probably because of the broadband. Listed at offers over £125,000. Properties in the Ardan Broome area are 3 bedrooms like this are actually going for over £125,000. Windmill Court. Windmill Court Cellar Dyke. This was actually sold in just under a month. It was a 4-bedroom detached bungalow, and this was on at offers over 300,000. So these types of properties actually sell for over 300,000. 24 Morton Crescent in St Andrews, that sold within the month. There was a 4-bedroom detached house, and it was listed at offers over £380,000. So that's sold as well. So that gives you a real good idea about what's getting sold in the area and what they're actually going for. And actually, we've got Bonegate Cooper again. Maybe you should change it to your name. This will be somebody else different now. Evening, Jim. Evening. So let's talk about some of the things that have actually happened in terms of numbers, and then we'll talk about what's coming soon. Doing it for the kids, right? This is the one I spoke about, doing it for the kids, building a buy-to-let legacy and legacy for your family, you and your family's future. This is an article on here, and you can click on it. You can hear the podcast, you can watch the show, or you can just read the article. To be honest, the podcast is absolutely brilliant, if I don't say so myself. But I'm passing on a lot of knowledge now. I really can't get round to writing the book. I'm on chapter 3, and by the time I get to the end of the book, I'll probably not be here any longer. So what I'm doing every single week when I'm doing the wealth creation show, when I'm doing blogs and vlogs like this, I'm providing content to people that are sellers and buyers, but I'm also, with the property investment shows and the wealth creation shows and the letting shows, I'm actually embedding information so my children can actually listen to this in years to come when I'm gone. Effectively. So this is timeless content I'm actually supplying as an appropriate investor over the last 30 years to make sure there's some sort of information passed on to the next generations of my family and that. And that's why I talked about this, doing it for the kids, building a buy-to-let legacy for you and your family's future. So good information, good advice. If that's the type of thing you want to get advice on and information on, feel free, listen to it if you want. It's entirely free information. And it can lead you to, any level of wealth you actually want, to be honest, because that's what I've achieved. So I'm always a great believer in those that can and have done can actually teach those that want to learn, if that makes sense. If you've not done it, then how could you teach anybody else it? So this is what I teach people, how to make, possibly, you can make 4, 5, 6, even 7-figure incomes out of property investment and wealth creation. So I can teach that as a result. Okay, so that's doing it for the kids. The other one was 66.7% of Fife properties were actually bought with a mortgage in the last 10 years. Quite an interesting show, because it was actually quite interesting from the point of view, we were going through some numbers, Perry and I, in terms of what the similarities are in terms of where we are right now compared to where the credit crunch was and where the dissimilarities are, where they actually separate, and why the market will still remain buoyant, and also why the market will probably just level off of anything. To be honest, I think it's going to continue to keep going in Fife. It might be a bit different outside of Fife, but Fife is still an extremely affordable area. 165,000 on an average price point for a house in Fife. Geez, that's literally just about 5.5 times the average salary in Fife. Now, that is a really good statistic and a really good key performance indicator to suggest that the market will still be extremely buoyant, if not level and stable in the Fife area if anything else happens. As a result of things like inflation, interest rate rises and stuff like that as well. But incidentally, most interest rates, people that have gone into mortgage deals in the last 3 or 4 years have actually fixed. 95% of the audience is actually fixed, and people have taken a mortgage and have actually fixed rates. So any interest rate rises won't affect them at all. There's about 11,000 people in Fife actually with variable rate mortgages, but that's out of the 42,000 people and have actually got mortgages in Fife. So it just shows you 42,000 people have mortgages in Fife. 11,000 of them are actually variable rates. So I would urge you right now, if you've got a variable rate mortgage, look at fixing your mortgage to give you some certainty about what your bills are going to be in the next 4 or 5 years. Okay, so that's that one. And also, let's talk about coming soon. Coming soon. Kilmoots Park in Kennaway. This is a 4-bedroom detached house. This will be coming soon. So if you're interested in a 4-bedroom detached house in the Kennaway and Kilmoots Park area, please contact us and we have information and we'll give you a heads up when it's going to go live. East Shore in St Monans is a 5-bedroom, 5-bathroom, 3-reception townhouse. That's all we're going to be coming on as well. It's got amazing views over the harbour, no uninterrupted views right over the harbour. It's got fantastic back garden as well. It's a property. It's absolutely beautiful. So that's going to be coming on as well. East Shore in St Monans, 5-bedroom, 5-bathroom, 3-reception townhouse. High Street in Newborough, 4-bedroom upper apartment is going to be coming on. Mirehead in Cooper, a 3-bedroom semi-detached cottage will be coming on. Burnside North in Cooper, a 2-bedroom apartment will be coming on as well. And signed up today, Fisherman's Court in Cellardyke, a 3-bedroom end-terraced house. Amazing front garden, sits in the sun all day long, and you can see the May Isle from your top window in your bedroom. What more could you ask for? It's got a wee path as well that goes right out to George Street and right along to the harbour and the Cellardyke tidal pool. And George Street is actually the Fife Coastal Path. Had to get that in somewhere. So completed this week as well. Let's talk about completed. 8 Letham Avenue in Leven. This is a 2-bedroom apartment. Now, this sold in 1 week at a closing date for 12.5% in Leven over the home report value. 2-bedroom upper apartment sold for £85,000 in Leven. Now, the reason I say that is because 4 other people missed out on this property, so they're still looking for a 2-bedroom upper apartment in the Levenmouth area, and they'll be going for around about £85,000 at this point in time. Now, 3 or 4 years ago, they were £55,000, so it shows you how much apartments and flats have moved up exponentially over the last 2 or 3 years, and that will continue to happen because first-time buyers are after these properties as well as investors, and because houses are now out of the realms possibly of first-time buyers because of their availability to get a higher mortgage. Incidentally, mortgage as well, we'll talk about that in the show, that the mortgage criteria, the income criteria now is 4.5 times earnings, but also there's a couple of things that have been relaxed now, which will allow people that couldn't get a mortgage before, they will be able to get a mortgage now to buy a property. Artherney Road in Leven, 2-bedroom upper apartment, sold in 4 days as well for £75,000. Kilburn, London Links, a 3-bedroom detached house with garage, sold in 1 month over the home report value, which was £300,000. And so that's what you're getting for these types of properties in the area. Just let me finish off briefly here and quickly talk you through Wealth Creation Show tomorrow. Now, Richard Cook and myself are going to be talking about, again, this is information that you want to know. If you're wanting to create any wealth of any sort, this is what we're going to talk about tomorrow. It's the 10 rules for getting your money right. It's not property investment. It's about the 10 rules for getting your money right. This is what we're talking about in the Wealth Creation Show tomorrow. How can I teach this? Because it's something I've done already, and I'm imparting the knowledge that I've done already and the track record that I have already, and we've put together the 10 rules, and we'll be going over them and talking a bit more of them in detail about what these rules are and how you can get your money right. So tune in on the channels on my public profile. It is on this post, and our YouTube channel is on this post as well. You can click on these links at 12:30 tomorrow and tune in live for Richard and myself, and we'll take questions as well. You might have some questions that you want to ask on the Wealth Creation Show. Please feel free to interact and actually engage with us, and also share with your friends. This is information that we're passing on. It is timeless content that anybody can learn, and it might not be the point of readiness right now for yourself, but at some point in the future, you will think, I'm glad I remembered that, or I'm glad I knew that information, because it is now completely relevant. Opportunity and preparation meet. That is the point of readiness. So what you're doing right now when you're watching and listening to these wealth creation shows and all these other information like the property investment shows is you're preparing yourself up here for when the opportunity appears, and that'll be exactly the point of readiness, where you're ready to strike. If you don't prepare, if you plan, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. That's ultimately it. And what you're doing right now is actually you're preparing every single time for that. So I did this for the first 4 years. All I did was preparation, and that was 30 years ago. And then I hit the ground running because I'd prepared all the information. I'd known it all. I'd learnt from all the people before. All these mentors that I'd learnt from were far more successful than me. And I learnt from all these people and actually used all the information and still use it today and impart that for knowledge for everyone else to know right now as well in our wealth creation shows and our property investment shows as well. So tune into that tomorrow. Richard and I will have a wee chat with everybody at that time. And until next time, guys, I'm Jim Parker for Fife Properties TV. Bye-bye for now. Have a great night. It's roasting out there and I'm burnt. I'll have to stay indoors to keep away from it. Okay, bye-bye.